Hello, this is Annalie Cairns with McGraw-Hill Education, and we'd like to welcome you to the webinar, Create a Culture of Kindness at Your School for All Grades Pre-K-12. So before we get started, we'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being presented in listen-only mode, which means you will be able to hear the presenters, but they will not be able to hear you. However, we do want you to participate with us. If you have questions, please type them in the Q&A box, or you can reach out to us through Twitter. That's McGraw-Hill K-12. Again, on Twitter, it's McGraw-Hill K-12. We are also using a couple hashtags during this webinar that we will put in the question and answer box and send those out to everyone. So as we get started, I'd like to go ahead and introduce who we have joining us today. We have Jill McManigal, co-founder and executive director of Kids for Peace, home to the Great Kindness Challenge, and Karina Vega, who's K-12 with the Office of Child and Welfare, and attendance with Coachella Valley Unified. Karina is a former elementary school teacher and counselor, a mother of 3, and a kindness advocate. Karina has implemented a district-wide Great Kindness Challenge with 21 K-12 schools. Karina's mission is to model, teach, and acknowledge the behavior we want to install in children. And before we get started, we'd like to get a feel for who we have joining us today. So you all should see a poll pop up on your screen. We'll pause for a second and give everyone an opportunity to participate. So it looks like we have some coming in. Quite a few people are not familiar, which is wonderful. We'll give you an opportunity to become more familiar with the Great Kindness Challenge. We're about 68% in. We'll give everyone a few more minutes to let us know about their involvement with the Great Kindness Challenge. All right, it looks like we have the majority of tallies in, about 81%. We'll go ahead and stop the poll. So you can see the results. It looks like, again, we have the majority of people unfamiliar, but that's wonderful, and we'll give you lots of opportunity to answer questions and get more familiar with the initiative and what we have to offer today. So we have another poll, just trying to, again, see what your role is at the school so we can tailor some of the conversation and questions. So if you take a few minutes to please just answer what your involvement is with your current environment at your school. Great. About 76% of the votes in. It looks like a good majority are school counselors, followed by teachers, some administrators, parent, and then a couple others. Give a few more seconds for people to tally their votes and move on to the next. Okay, we have about 85% of those in. We'll go ahead and close the polls and show the results. So as you can see, again, about 77% are school counselors, followed by teachers. It looks like administrators, other, and then parents. So thank you all for joining. And then the last poll we have for you today is to find out what grade level that associates with, again, just to better be able to answer questions and facilitate the conversation. So we have about 30% in so far. Looks like middle school and elementary are tied. We'll give everyone a few more minutes, 73% in. Okay, great. We have a bulk of the folks on the phone have logged in. We'll go ahead and close the poll and show the results. Okay, so the final results, it looks like the majority are elementary, followed by high school, middle school, other, and then preschool. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to our presenter, Jill.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am just absolutely delighted that you are taking your time to learn more about the Great Kindness Challenge and how you can create a culture of kindness at your school. With the current climate in our world right now, in our country right now, we are extra moved that you are committing yourself to finding the common ground of kindness and giving your students an opportunity to take action to make the world the one that they want to live in and make their school one that is safe, kind, and respectful for everyone. So we are really grateful for you to do this. And we're so happy to know that so many school counselors are on the call. There has been traditionally mostly school counselors who have been implementing the Great Kindness Challenge, but there are definitely lots of teachers, administrators, and parents who also bring it to their schools. And we're so delighted that there are so many of you who are hearing about us for the first time. And we hope we can answer any question you have and give you everything you need to have the best week ever and to carry it on for the rest of your school year. And we're also really happy to know that there are so many high school students and middle school students of middle schools that are participating on this webinar. It has been traditionally more elementary schools, but as we've grown, we've had more and more middle and high schools participating, and we've increased our resources and tools to accommodate that. So we're really happy that we have so many high schoolers and middle schoolers because kindness matters for everyone. So we're delighted about that. And so on your screen you see the webinar goals. We have two main goals for this webinar. One is to discover how you can empower your students and community to amplify the kindness effect. And the other goal is that we want you to be able to walk away with an uplifting plan and free tools to create a culture of kindness on your campus. So those are our goals of this webinar. On the next slide, you'll see the agenda. So we're going to go over, give you the overall view of the Great Kindness Challenge, explain why we do it. Two different ways to go about it, implementing the Great Kindness Challenge. You can either keep it simple or you can go big. We'll give you examples of both of those. And then our very special guest, Karina, will be sharing how she implemented the Great Kindness Challenge at her entire school district, which is both elementary, middle, and high school. So you'll get to see some real-life examples from Karina of how the Great Kindness Challenge is implemented in her school district. Then we'll go over some one-week plans, just to give you a good overview of what it can look like at your school, and then talk specifically about how to engage your students, teachers, and community, give you some other ideas, answer your questions, and then know that all of our hearts will be full of gratitude. So first, for the overall view, the overall message of the Great Kindness Challenge. It is all based on a 50-item kindness checklist. It's a very simple concept. We want every single student in the school to be empowered with this checklist in their hands. And then we simply challenge them to complete as many acts of kindness as possible using that 50-item checklist. We do have it available in the paper format, and we have it in both English and Spanish, and then we also have it in an app for those who have iPads or iPhones, and so it's all based on that. So it's 1 week, it's one checklist, and we say it's infinite happiness because it carries on and on. So we want to overemphasize how simple the Great Kindness Challenge is, that all you need to do is that kindness checklist, and you'll be empowered to have a culture of kindness. Some of the history of the Great Kindness Challenge. It was started back in 2012. I'm actually first a mother. I'm a former school teacher, and now I'm the executive director of Kids for Peace. And we started it in 2012 with my children's school and a couple of our neighboring schools. And we were looking for our school was looking for a way to be proactive in creating a culture that was compassionate and unified and joyful. And so we came up with the idea of the Great Kindness Challenge. And after the first year with the 3 schools, word spread, and the next year we had 263 schools that participated, and that was almost all by word of mouth. And then you'll see that it exponentially grew, and this last year in 2016 we had over 8,000 schools, over 5 million students who participated, and they collectively performed 250 million acts of kindness. So it's been this really beautiful organic growth, and mostly because of word of mouth from teachers and from counselors who are sharing it with other schools. It works at their school, and they want other schools to know about it. So we're delighted about that. And then this year, for 2017, our goal is to have 10 million students engaged in 15,000 schools. So we're on a mission to conquer the world with kindness here. So you're probably wondering how you'll be able to bring it to your school. Another reason it's so wildly successful is because it's very, very simple to implement, simple to participate. So there's just 3 easy steps to participate. All you need to do is to register your school, and then you'll receive the toolkit and the checklist. And then when you have the checklist, you print copies of the checklist, distribute to the students, and then on the week of January 23rd through the 27th, or whatever is the best week for your school, you just need to get happy and get busy creating a culture of kindness. So we'll overemphasize the simplicity of it because we do know how very busy you all are, and we want to know that we're just complementing whatever you're already doing in your school, but giving you the tools to infuse your school, infuse that week with this big burst of kindness, compassion, and joy. The impact of the Great Kindness Challenge. So we do a survey every year, and in our 2016 survey, it was reported that 98% of schools stated an improvement in their school climate, and 86% of schools that participated noticed an increase in staff morale. So this is not only great for the students, but it's great for the teachers, the entire staff, and we know how important that is to have that happy school culture. Other parts of impact is that it does elevate the school climate and it unites the community, and we'll share some examples about how the community can be united. It decreases bullying and it increases compassion. It minimizes behavioral referrals. We've had schools who track their behavioral referrals and have noticed that week was the only week they've ever had 0 behavioral referrals into their office. And one of our principals stated that of all of her years as a principal, she had never seen that happen before. And then the biggest part of the impact is that it makes kindness a habit. As students are completing kind act after kind act, that repetitive action actually makes kindness a habit. On here is, we always ask ourselves, why are we doing what we do? And the picture itself really speaks to the why. And the why is that it unites our students and gives them an opportunity to live, to learn in a safe, supportive, and respectful and kind school environment. And we find it's in that environment that students thrive. So we just want, our why is that we want all students to have the opportunity to thrive in that happy, joyful, unified school environment. So the Great Kindness Challenge, there's a way to either go super simple, which a lot of schools start that way, and that's a wonderful way to start, or some schools want to go big, and we give you everything you need to do either way. So keeping it simple is simply making copies of the checklist, distributing the copies of the checklist to all students, and then encouraging students to participate. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. That alone will have a huge impact on the school. Those who want to go beyond that, in our toolkit, we have lots of great ideas of how to complement the week. So there, in our Going Big section, we have kickoff activities. We have, in our toolkit, we have rallies and assemblies. We have the entire scripts in there for you. So it's really turnkey. Everything you would possibly need to have a successful week is in our toolkit. We have lots of ideas for community engagement. That's one of the areas that schools are really gravitating towards, engaging not just the students, but the families, the elected officials, or local businesses, and we give opportunities for you to do that. A lot of schools like to do spirit days to add the fun element to it, and also to really show the united effort of creating a culture of kindness. So we'll give you some examples of spirit days that schools do. And then other ways that schools have gone big is by doing school-wide service projects. So we have our students who are doing their individual acts of kindness with the checklist, And a lot of schools like to then do a unified school-wide service project to implement, to impact their community, their local community, or the global community. So we'll give you some examples of those as well. Now I would love to introduce Karina, who's going to give some examples of how that can really look in real time and in real life. So Karina, I invite you to take it away, and want to remind you all that if you have any questions for Karina as she's going, you're welcome to type them in, and she'll get them answered as we're going. So welcome, Karina.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. I'm super excited to share our experience with you. Just a little bit about myself. I am a K-12 counselor, so I deal with kindergarten through 12th grade, actually transitional kinder through 12th grade. And I'm charged with PBIS, Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. And one of the things I took on this year was the Great Kindness Challenge. And so one of the things that helped us encourage it throughout our schools is that we did have a district support. So we had our superintendent supported and send out a press release saying that our district was participating in this. And then also we we went through and decided as a school district the days we were going to focus on. So if you look on the bottom part where it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as a school administration, so all of the assistant principals and the principals decided which Spirit Week we would be participating in. So on Monday, it was Step Up to Kindness, Show Your Love. And then every team day or every Spirit Day had an activity that went along with that. So some days they were writing thank you letters, other days they were cleaning up the campus. There was different things like that. And then I'm sorry, I can't change my slide. Thank you. So Monday, the kids were wearing boots, and we also focused on being a bucket filler on that day. So kids were stepping up to kindness, and then we teachers and different community members came into schools and read how to be a bucket filler to the kids. A lot of our staff at the district, because that's the one thing we want to focus on, staff first, students second, and modeling that behavior that we want to see from our students. A lot of our district staff bought each other buckets and, put kind words in their bucket throughout the day. So that's another one. I Choose Kindness. We did these posters that has a Great Kindness Challenge logo. And then we had, this was especially popular at the high schools, had kids pledge to be kind. And those are all our boots that kids were wearing on that day. And then also, again, staff first, student second, we encourage staff to do things like staff shout-outs where kids or parents or other faculty members would be able to say, who they were shouting out and why. And this was very successful. This is one of the things that we saw, because this is our third year, so this is one of the things that we saw that schools started to copy and keep throughout the year. So that was really, really nice.
Hi, if I could just pause for 1 second. We had a question come in, and you might be touching on this a little bit later, but I think it's pertinent to what you're discussing now. So, Karina, the question was, how did the students react to your initial implementation of the Great Kindness Challenge? So you said you've been doing it for 3 years. Have you seen more or less participation?
So in the very beginning, in our first year, it was more elementary. Like all of our elementary schools were participating. They were used to the idea of Spirit Weeks and things like that. And we did have some participation in middle and some participation in high school. But it wasn't until the second year that, everybody was like, when's the Kindness Challenge? When are we doing this? What are we doing? I have an idea. And then one of the things that we encouraged kids to do was to submit their ideas. So once they felt that there was some buy-in, they were more excited about it. But the kids are excited about the app, so they love the app. They downloaded the app. We're a one-to-one iPad district, so they had, the app on their iPads, and they were excited about doing that. But, I mean, it is something that is highly encouraged, and that was why I tried really hard to get staff buy-in so that they would model the behavior for students. And then, You're welcome. So this is a Show Some Love Day, and we actually had a lot of schools doing this heart participation, and they actually worked together with a local company and took the picture with I don't remember what those things are called that they fly over. They take pictures of things, but they worked together with a local company, and they had like a lesson on what they do. I think they're called droids, maybe, but had a lesson on drones. Yes, yes. And the kids also had a lesson on how to, like, what that looks like and how to do that. So that was like a community involvement piece that we had for taking the pictures of some of the students on the red wear red and pink, and then make hearts and share the love. So there was a lot of discussion on sharing the love. And so see there, the kids making their hearts with their coloring boxes. And this was out. These were tables that were set out during lunch, so the kids got to go over to the tables during their lunchtime and then spread hearts. It was there in the morning and at lunchtime. And this is another activity that a lot of schools did. So we had a lot of posters. A lot of people made posters when giving the choice between being right and being kind. Choose kindness. There was a lot of exciting things like heart bandanas and heart hats, heart glasses. A lot of kids brought that. The little girl in the back, you can't really see her, but she has a heart necklace. So there was a lot of hearts that came out. And then again, that kindness matters, the pledging to be kind. They put their hearts and they attached them to fences, to the Kindness Matters poster. That was another thing that they really enjoyed doing. Like the pledging was big for kids. So these are meerkats. Meerkats, kindness is strength, kindness matters. This was during Spirit Week, so you could see they have the Dodgers. And this day was a team up to clean up, so they were also cleaning schools during that time. And there's another team up to clean up. And the picture in the background, I know it's a little fuzzy, but that's our staff and the Great Kindness Challenge poster in front. And then that was actually on our Facebook page, and it said, "There's no rivalry here. We all stand for kindness." And so all of our teams were represented, but everyone was saying, we all stand for kindness. So that was a cool picture that we were able to put on our district webpage.
Karina, we had a question come in that asked what the students did with the hearts.
So the hearts, they were supposed to spread the love, so they chose people to give their hearts to.
One of the on the checklist, one of the acts of kindness is to cut out 10 hearts and give them to friends. That's one of the acts of kindness on the checklist also.
Yeah. And there's more hearts. This was actually an embroidery class that made hearts in their embroidery class. And then these hearts were taken to our Braille Institute and were given as a thank you letter to our Braille students at the Braille Institute. And that's an institute for the blind. So they were embroidered, so they had the texture, and they made the hearts for the school. So again, that's another community outreach that was done. And then writing a thank you letter.
Great. And then to that question, we had another follow-up. Are these types of activities also done at a middle school level? And if so, how are those students responding?
Okay, so middle school has been involved. They have been really, really essential in giving ideas for some of the middle school, for some of the activities. And then the one middle school that completely took it on, they had their ASB push it out. And so they had their ASB, they had the cheerleaders do a cheer. There was a lot of things going on similar to high school. And so they have definitely had more of I don't know what the correct word is, but more of a difficult time joining and participating. However, the one school that was successful in doing it, where everyone was doing it, was really through ASB and focusing on ASB. The first year, definitely middle and high school didn't necessarily participate because we were doing it whole district. But the second year, the middle schools that did participate, they went big and did everything, and they were very successful in that. And so our hope is that this third year, that all of our middle schools and all of our high schools will definitely take place. And I've actually been contacted by some of the ASBs from the high schools saying, can you help us come to our school and talk about how we can make this happen? So I know the interest is there, and the interest is growing every year.
That's fantastic. And for those that were not educators, could you clarify what ASB stands for?
Associate Student Body, the Associate Student Body, so like the president, the vice president of the school were the ones that were kind of promoting the Kindness Challenge. So in that case, it wasn't necessarily coming from staff as much, it was more coming from the student leaders on campus.
And this is Jill. Wanted to emphasize that the checklist itself was created by our high school students, and they created challenges, acts of kindness that they felt would be appropriate for high school down through elementary school age. And so they found all the acts of kindness on there appropriate for them. They realized that some of them are more regional than others. And so we've actually come up with a editable checklist now. So any of the acts of kindness, if you feel that's not quite appropriate, or if you think there might be something better for your school to do, you can edit the checklist and make all 50 acts of kindness just exactly right for your school.
And the app also has that option where you can do your own act of kindness, and they did enjoy being able to write in their own act. So this next picture is our staff here at the district office, and this will show your spirit. So there you see our district shirts in the picture. And again, we also pledged. And I think this is cool to notice that when the kids started pledging and we started seeing the signs, then we decided we wanted to do a sign too. And so then we started pledging. So if you can barely see it, but we all traced our hand and then wrote our name inside of it and pledged to be kind. So, and that's me in the pink shirt there. And it was really a fun week. It was really a fun week. And so again, there's another, this is at a school site, and this is right where the kids go. They go up this rail to go into the cafeteria for lunch. So they were all pledging that. And this is an elementary school, and our elementary schools are K-6. So there is sixth graders. I know some sixth graders already in middle school, but ours are K-6. So there was a lot of sixth graders participating in this. Wake Up to Kindness, and so they wore their favorite pajamas. And then we had a whole day where they needed to finish their checklist. So they, some of the teachers went through and helped them. There's another picture of our kids on pajama day. And there's another one. So our teachers are involved too. Carol, she's the one in blue in the back. She's our sixth grade teacher. So these are sixth graders in the picture, and they were waking up to kindness. So they were all participating in their pajamas. This was really popular. They made kindness stations. So all the kids were making kindness stations. So they had the Kindness Matters, and they made posters. And then you came over and they gave you a kindness quote, like something that was kind. And then they also had copies of the checklist for the kids to check off the things on the checklist. And then the other thing that I thought was really cool that the kids did is that there was some like a kindness, what did they call it? They kind of like a kindness supporter or a kindness ambassador or something like that, where they had the checklist and they were giving kids ideas of how they could fulfill the checklist. Like if they were stumped on, like, who do I say thank you to, or how do I do this? They had somebody at this school site that was kind of giving kids ideas, another student that was giving kids ideas. So that was kind of cool. This is our high school. This is a picture of one of our high schools on the app. So he's getting ready to do the Kindness Challenge last year. And then this is a teacher that has a checklist up in her classroom. And one of the students is kind of sharing with the class the things that she's done. This was actually really cool. They watched the bucket filling video on the first day, and then they went through the Kindness Challenge and talked about some of the things that they could do to do kindness. This would be a cool thing for middle or high schoolers to talk about, like what plans do they have on how they're going to complete the Kindness Challenge. There's more pictures. The young man in red is sharing a heart with his class and talking about kindness. The kids on the bottom are another school that was teaming up to clean up. They have it, the high schoolers that have it on their phones, so you can do the checklist on the phones. That was super, super amazing. Definitely had staff involvement. The Office of Child Welfare and Attendant made these hearts and you matter, you're awesome, and passed them out to everyone on staff. It was just a really fun week. And then we topped it off with a buddy breakfast. So we had a buddy breakfast for all of our staff, and we did provide breakfast. And this is something that everybody was really excited about, because we don't always give ourselves the time as staff to be kind to each other. And so, again, that idea that staff first and students second. There's our kindness station, so those are our CMA Cougars. This was an activity that they did the first year that the second and third year caught on very much. And so this was very much copied by other schools in terms of, and it originated from this one school, but there was a lot of copycats after that. So the Cougars, the CMA Cougars, when we shared that information with them, they were super excited that their idea, had caught on at other schools. So that also encourages them being united and how their kindness impact does have an impact on others. So again, there's a poster that kids colored. We have a program called Friday Night Live, and so Friday Night Live really, really embraced the kindness challenge. So these kids are actually embracing kindness after school as well. So it wasn't just a during the school activity. It was like on campus the entire week.
Beautiful. Well, no doubt that kindness matters at Coachella Valley Unified School District, and it's so inspiring to see the kids in action, and the smiles really are telling the story. You can see the pride that they have by taking the action to kind to each other. So
yes, and that's
really
definitely something that we want to do as busy as we are, and as 1,000 things that we have on our agenda. It's really important for the adults to stop and make this important, make it matter, because if it matters to the adults, it'll matter to the kids. And we want to continue to encourage that and continue to ask, our adults to do this. If you're a single school, all of this can be replicated at your single school. If you're a whole district and you want to do it, my thing, especially with kindness, go big. Going big will definitely pay off. And I super appreciate everyone for listening. I have an actual emergency that I have to attend to, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from the phone call. But Jill and everyone, thank you so much, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you again for coming to the webinar.
Thank you, Karina.
All right,
thanks
bye,
for taking
guys.
care of the students in Coachella Valley.
Thank you, I will.
Beautiful.
Thank you, bye-bye.
So in the spirit of going big, yes.
Yep. I'm sorry, before I move forward, we had a couple questions come through. A couple people have asked if the app is free to download, and if so, is it available on iTunes?
Yes, it is. It is free, and it's available on iTunes.
Great. And we also
everything we have. Everything we have is free. All of the entire program is free for schools. And in the toolkit, there's a link for the app, so it's easy to find in our toolkit.
Wonderful. The other question was, will we be able to get a list of suggested activities, such as dress-up days? And that may already exist in the toolkit.
We do, yes. The toolkit is very comprehensive. It has everything and more that you'll need for a successful week. And as I mentioned, it's very turnkey. So it even has all the ideas for Spirit Days based on what schools have done. So every year we improve the toolkit to include all the amazing ideas that are out there. It also has parent letters to go home. It has media alerts, like everything you would possibly need to have a great week is in that toolkit. Yes, so one of the things we have in the toolkit are week plans. So you can really see how you can plan out the activities. And we just want to give you an overview of what it could look like for your schools, whether you're an elementary, middle, or a high school. So Monday, the big part is to distribute the checklist to all the students. So we want to always emphasize that that is what the whole Great Kindness Challenge is based on. So that if you only do that, it's great. But that's on Monday. You want to distribute the checklist. Other things that schools like to do on Monday for elementary schools, we often have kickoff assemblies. And in the toolkit, we do have lots of scripts in there that you can adjust and personalize for your schools or customize for your schools. There's schools really enjoy doing these student-run assemblies. And in elementary schools, a lot of schools like to launch their Kind Coin service project, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. At the high school level on Monday, distributing the checklists. Schools like to distribute them in the English class, since English is the one class that almost every school has for their students. So we recommend to distribute it during English class if you don't have a homeroom. A lot of schools in the middle or high schools have their own TV stations, and so a lot of schools will create a segment on their TV to promote the Great Kindness Challenge and to kick it off. And high schools and middle schools are also invited to be part of our service projects that we have going on. On Tuesday, lots of schools will do a kindness quote, and actually we'll do kindness quotes every day. Just do them over loudspeaker or over on the school television if you have that. And then a lot of schools like to do recess kindness stations that they launch on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You saw some great examples on Karina's presentation of the students. They were running their kindness stations. We have a lot of schools who have kindness stations who are run by their parents or by community members. It's a really nice way to get your community involved to come and volunteer at your school. So in our toolkit, again, we give examples of how to make that happen. And then spirit days going on the whole week. So there's lots of ideas in the toolkit, but some of them are the dream of kindness, wearing your pajamas. My son is still in high school, and that's actually the only spirit day that he really likes to do. He's like, Mom, this is so easy. I get to roll out of bed, wear my pajamas, and be kind, because this is a good day. So dream of kindness is a big hit in schools. Team kindness, wearing your sports attire. Peace, love, and kindness, hippie attire has been a big hit in a lot of schools. And Spirit Day, claiming that your school is kind, wearing your school colors. And I kind of jumped around here. So on the middle school, same thing with the Spirit Days. And it's nice if you can unite the entire school district, all doing the same Spirit Days, but that's not necessary. So you can do whatever way is most appropriate for your school. But the lunch stations, or the recess kindness stations or lunch kindness stations, we've had a lot of schools, both middle and high school, who successfully do that. Either the ASB is running it, the Associated Student Body, or there's other appropriate clubs that can run it. But a lot of high schools and middle schools have said that that's been one of the hits for them, is having that kindness station and having a place where all the students can come to work on those 50 acts of kindness and get the tools for that. So moving on to the next, onto our next slide is about engaging your students. We do find that the Great Kindness Challenge is most successful when the students have a voice in coming up with coming up with the plan. So on the picture on the left, that's actually from our presenter last year, and that was in Arkansas, and that was the students themselves were coming up with what they wanted to do for the week-long plan. They came up with the Spirit Days. They came up with what their service projects would be. So we have a section in the toolkit that gives more ideas of how to engage with students in doing the planning part of it, but we know that they can be a big part of it. And also, if we could just actually go back a second, sorry. On the other ways that you can engage your students is they can be part of the kickoff rallies. They can be part of reading the daily kindness quotes. They can run the kindness stations, and of course, every student in the school can be engaged by participating in accomplishing their Great Kindness Challenge checklist, all 50 acts of kindness. And then we find for the Great Kindness Challenge to be most successful is, of course, we need to engage the teachers. Whether you're going simple for the first year and just distributing the checklist and encouraging students, we still need the buy-in from the teachers, because if they're encouraging the kids, just reminding them daily to participate, that makes all the difference. So we have some really nice, easy ways to make sure that to make sure that the teachers are engaged. My biggest tip to schools is to do teacher kindness kits. The teacher kindness kits will have a kit that will have everything in it for a successful week, and they'll have the checklist for the classes. They'll have an agenda for the week, and we'd like to add little fun incentives to encourage them as well, whether they're Kindness Matters bracelets or little Kind Bar snacks. But the teachers, the more that we can get their buy-in, the more successful the week will be. On the next slide is the to engage your community. So this is definitely taking it to the next level to have your community involved. But we find that it really amplifies the kindness message when the students see that their community cares about what they're doing and sees the value in it. That it just it really reiterates how important kindness is. And so we like to engage our community in the kickoff activities. In that top left picture, that you'll see pictures of firefighters and police officers and their community members. We're making a community kindness tunnel to greet the students in the morning. And I've been to many schools seeing this tunnel in action, and it really does just elevate the day and get everybody so inspired. And I've had a lot of community members say to me that this has been the best day of the year for them, seeing the joy of the children and knowing that they're a part of all of that. So it adds so much to the experience by including the community. Besides being part of the kickoff tunnels and the kickoff activities, the community can be part of judging any kindness contests that you might have, reading the daily kindness quotes over the loudspeaker. They can volunteer at the kindness stations. We've had community members who provide incentives for the schools, whether they are pizza parties or ice cream for the students. We do have a section that has incentive ideas, but the community can help by donating those items and then distributing them. Also, we've had the community help in printing the checklist for the schools, and they know that they're then contributing to the overall success of the Great Kindness Challenge. And we also have had community members who honor the students with a proclamation, whether it's through their mayor, the city council, or even the congressional offices. They're able to either come to the school and give the proclamation, or the students can go to the city council and receive that proclamation. But it really adds to the overall unifying factor. And we wanted to highlight some of our other favorite ideas of how to create a culture of kindness and really make the Great Kindness Challenge successful. And these are, when you go to the toolkit, you're going to see there's so many ideas, it's going to be hard to choose which ones. These are the ones that we have heard and seen to be extra successful. So one of them is having incentives for the students. We do provide some Kindness Matters items that you're welcome to purchase. These are the only things that we don't have for free for everybody, but we keep it as, we keep the costs very, very doable. And we actually currently have a sale going on, my little commercial right now. It was just World Kindness Day, so we have a 30% off sale right now for anybody who wants to get these items and pretty much get them at cost then. So incentives, and there's, again, in our toolkit, lots of other ideas for other incentives that don't cost anything. I have to say that my children's school, they decide every year at the elementary school, the students themselves decide on an incentive for their principal, that if all the students complete the checklist, the principal does something. And this last year, they wanted him to jump out of an airplane if they all completed the checklist. And they did it, and he jumped out of an airplane. We had it be a big part of a rally and big community event to have him and our superintendent and a couple other principals jump out of an airplane. So, and those are the really fun incentives when the school can all unite together for one big happy incentive by the principals. Also, we suggest that you decorate your school. It just adds to the overall ambiance of the kindness, and there's lots of ideas in the toolkit of how you can decorate the school. The students themselves love creating the posters and sidewalk chalk and lots of fun things to make the school this really big, joyful environment. Positive Post-it notes, especially at the high school and the middle school level. They've loved doing the positive Post-it notes, whether they've put the Post-its on lockers, or some schools don't have lockers anymore, so the students themselves decorate these really fun Post-its and just put it on the students' desks. And we've heard time and time again how joyful that has been. Some schools, we've had the counselors make the Post-its and then surprise the students by putting them on every student's locker, which is just beautiful to have that. So there's lots of different ways to do the positive Post-it notes. Another fun idea is school-to-school kindness. We love how schools will want to take in a whole school effort to honor another school and show their kindness. There are some of the ideas for the school-to-school kindness is schools will make a big happy kindness poster, and all the students will sign it, and they go over to the school and surprise them and put it on their fence or on the door. We've had other school-to-school kindness ideas, or a school will get a tree, and they'll raise money for a tree, give it to another school, and they give them a kindness tree that they can plant in honor from, a gift from one school to another. Other schools have done buddy benches that they've made and then given to another school. So there's lots of fun, really meaningful ideas to show one school to another on a bigger level that we can all be kind to each other. In the same mode of sharing the kindness is class-to-class kindness. And this is a way that older students can unite with younger students. Even same age students can do service projects for each other, kindness actions for each other. But we've seen lots of examples of high schools and middle schools going down to their elementary school and helping them do the Great Kindness Challenge checklist. So doing some of the items together. And it's just this beautiful way to think beyond yourself and all unite together. Other fun ideas, flash mobs. We have schools who do that at lunchtime, which is fun for all ages, high school through elementary school. We also have kindness curriculum. One of our kindness partners is Random Acts of Kindness Foundation. They have a fantastic kindness curriculum that we encourage you for those who want to take kindness year-round. We also have in our toolkit media. The media is always looking for our stories of the positive, the happy stories to balance out what's going on in the news. And we have a whole media section of ways that you can share the good news of what your students are doing. And then we have a global service project that we do every year. That'll lead me to the next slide. So one of the acts of kindness on the checklist is make a wish for a child in another country. So we thought that it'd be fun and meaningful to take that wish and really elevate that. So we started a project called the Kind Coins Project, and we did it last year. Was our first year doing it, and we did the Kind Coins for Kenya project, where kids raised money, collected coins, and we took all that money. Was about 159 schools altogether participated. Got over $80,000 just in kids' coins, and we built a brand new school in this remote village in Kenya. We have a video that tells the story of Maggie, the little girl who wanted a new school, and then we told the story. We went back and finished the school, built the school, finished the school, and then made another video. So all the students who were part of collecting coins, they got to see the end result. And it was really this beautiful full circle that they saw that their actions really made a difference and changed not only Maggie's life in Kenya, but her entire community. Lives were changed. So now we are doing a new school every year. So as part of a unifying activity for all the Great Kindness Challenge schools, every year we'll have one new school and one new community in need. And so this year we're going to be building a new school in Pakistan. So it's going to be 100% funded by kids, kids from the Great Kindness Challenge, and they'll get to see the school and hear the story of a little girl in Pakistan. And a video is being made right now as we speak. I personally traveled to Pakistan with my daughter. We met the people of this community that we're going to be building the school, beautiful, beautiful people, and we're very excited to share the video of their community and then a video appeal that you can share with your students and learn about the educational system that's happening in Pakistan right now. So we invite you all to be part of that if your students are looking for a way to be to really practice being global citizens. We're getting close to wrapping up, and the next thing we want to let you know is that every school that participates in the Great Kindness Challenge becomes kindness certified. You'll become a kindness certified school. You'll receive a seal and a certificate, and we just honor the commitment that schools have to creating this culture through the simple acts of kindness. And one way we honor you is by providing the kindness certified school seal to you. And so that leads to any other questions that you might have.
Yes, we've had a few come in that I've held until the end. One was asked if the app is available for Google Play.
through Google Play. Is the app? I have my tech person here. So currently it's only on the iPhone or on our iPad or iTunes. Yeah, available on iTunes currently.
Okay. And then a few more questions just in regards to the Great Kindness Challenge as a whole. Do we register, and is there a cost?
Yes, so great questions. Yes, we do have you sign up, and we'll be following up with a link that you can do that, or you can just go to our website, which is greatkindnesschallenge.org, and you sign up right there. So it's a simple sign up, and then you just have to confirm your sign up, and then you'll automatically receive the tools right then and there. And as you sign up, that also gets you signed up for our newsletter. So we give you all the ideas. Like when we have our new video for Pakistan, we'll send that out to you. As we have any kind of other fun incentives and other ideas, we share that through our newsletters. But you do sign up, and there is no cost. It is 100% free. We are a nonprofit, and we simply want the schools, every school possible to participate. So we don't want to charge anything.
Great. We've had a couple questions in regard to the certificate or the seal. Do you need to do anything to get it? And then is that new, or was that available last year?
Yes, we have had this available. So every year it is, once you participate, we send that out. So when you register, you should be in our system. We know that some people register, but because of strong spam filters, their schools are blocked from getting our emails, so they're not receiving our materials. But everyone who registers, we attempt to send out the materials, and that does automatically go to you. The certificate and the seal automatically goes to you. That happens in January after the Great Kindness Challenge is completed. So after you do the challenge, we automatically send that to you. For anybody who has previously done the Great Kindness Challenge, if you did not get that seal, you can go ahead and email us, and we'll make sure to get that to you.
Great. And then another question, is the weekly template editable as the checklist is?
Yes. So the template for the weekly plan, I think if they're speaking of the weekly plan, it is not, but it is in a format that's easy for you to replicate in there. So, and we have in our toolkit other plans that have other samples of ideas, other sample plans. So it's not editable, but it's easily it's easy to replicate. That's what I'm trying to say.
And then we've had just a few questions around the date and then the website to go to get that. So if you want to kind of reiterate, and then again for everyone on the call, we will be sending out a follow-up email with this presentation and the slides for you, and we'll make sure to include the links to the website. But Jill, if you want to run through those again for everyone on the call.
Yes, absolutely. So the date is, we do it the last week of January 23rd to the 27th. We chose that date so that you can come back from winter break and start the new year with kindness. But we know that that's not the right date for everybody. It doesn't work for everyone. So you're absolutely welcome to do it whatever week is best for you. So no worries at all about that. And then the website is on the last slide there. It's the greatkindnesschallenge.org. Yes. Great. And we also wanted to mention that we have a really active Facebook community on the Great Kindness Challenge, and we invite everyone to join us on our Facebook page. We have lots of fun ideas on there, and as we get closer, we share those ideas more and have an opportunity for you to engage with other teachers and other educators.
Great. We had another question. If you can spread the activities over the year instead of concentrating on 1 week.
Yes, we have created this format to have the structure, but we know that every school knows their population best, and we really honor you as the counselors, administrators, teachers, to do whatever is the best for your students and for your community. So whatever you feel is the right way to do it, we honor that.
Okay. We had someone else ask if you need to register each year or if registering once continues your involvement.
Yeah, we have an opt-out system, so once you register, you are good to go. We just want to make sure that you are receiving the tools. So if you registered and aren't receiving the tools, you might want to re-register with a different email, maybe a personal email instead of a school email to ensure that you're receiving the tools. And we are launching a brand new website, and it's going to be launched in December. So we're excited to share that with you. That will be coming soon to all of you. And all the tools are going to be online. So currently there's not, once you're registered, there's not a place to get the tools once you're registered. So there's going to be a system that's going to be easier for you to be able to have access to everything we have provided for you.
Great. We've had a couple people. We've had a couple people chime in with just some initiatives that they have done. So I wanted to share one of the most recent ones. Last year, we got our middle school students involved by having them sell kindness grams to raise money for a school in Kenya. She says it was a huge hit. The kids love to give and receive kindness grams from one another.
Yeah, we love that, and that's actually not an idea in our toolkit, so we'll add that for the next year in our toolkit. Beautiful. If the person who wrote that wants to email us and share pictures about how you did that, we would love to include that in our toolkit next year. It's a great idea.
We had another woman write in saying that last year we got the community involved and had buckets and strips of paper set up at a local business. Customers filled out act of kindness they did or promised to do and dropped it in the bucket. After 30 days, they collected the paper and made a long kindness chain that they have hanging in their room. They also left messages of kindness inside library books.
We love these ideas. Again, whoever idea that was, if you could send us photos of that, we would love to include that in our toolkit as well. Beautiful. And this is the power of the Great Kindness Challenge. We, as a true grassroots movement, we have just been a platform to take all the ideas that are happening out there, the ideas that are working, and being able to share that with everyone, to have the week just be this really lovely, joyful week for everyone. So we are so grateful for all of the educators who have shared their ideas and feed upon each other, because that's how this whole momentum of kindness carries on. So we're very, very grateful.
Great. And then it looks like, I know we're getting close to time, so I think we'll probably just take one more question. This individual asked if you, Jill, have any recommendations for ways to incorporate this into curriculum, so it's a year-long activity and not something that's just done during the week.
I would say that what I would most recommend is to look at the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation, because they have a kindness curriculum, which is a year-round, that they're experts in that. So that would be my best suggestion. I am a former school teacher myself. I taught elementary school, and I did find ways to always weave kindness into all of my lessons. So I found a lot of literature to naturally emphasize the value of kindness. So there's some things that you can do, but I do know that the curriculum from the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation has specific ways to make that happen year-round for your school.
Great, thank you. And I think that are all of our questions at the moment. So again, we wanted to thank everyone for attending the webinar. As mentioned earlier, we will be sending a follow-up email with a link to the recording and some additional resources for everyone to take back and share with your schools or districts or teams, and to keep spreading the kindness. Jill, any closing remarks?
Just to share my gratitude again for all of you. You are an amazing human being, as the picture says, and this isn't possible without you. So we're just delighted that you are on this call, that you took the time to learn about the Great Kindness Challenge, and to know that we welcome you to our movement and embrace you fully. And if you need anything, we are here for you. So thank you very, very much. Your kindness does matter.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.